Before we begin, thank you very much to Nick T for joining the Patreon campaign. Thank you very much. Means a lot to me. Obviously, yes, I am still battling a sinus infection, so I feel fine. Thankfully, it's not the bad bug, and I don't even have a fever. It's really just I sound terrible. So you appreciate I'll appreciate any of your patience because I still want to produce videos. And people in the comment section are gonna tell me like, no, if you're sick, take care of yourself, take a break. You don't understand the YouTube algorithm. As long as I feel fine and you guys are willing to put up with me sounding froggy, I can still make videos. So I'm gonna make these for a while. It does mean I'm gonna hold off on doing my TFcon roundup, just telling you how the weekend went and all the cool things that happened. That will come once my voice is improved enough to really have like my full range of expression. But we can still talk TFcon because they also had the third party panel. I was actually looking forward to going to this for the first time ever instead of just hearing about it afterwards online, and I didn't go. I was having too much fun socializing with everybody. So I decided to forego most of the panels all weekend. So I actually got back to the hotel room and looked this up. So let's go and actually see what actually came up. First off, Mechanical Skull Studio. I can tell they are fans of Kojima. Let's see, what did they produce? They produced this. An absolutely beautiful Legends class Starscream from Armada. Now, my friend Sam, Sam Makes Toys, the guy who like did the 3D printed animated Constructicons, like that genius, he got a chance to mess with this because they actually did have one, as a sample on the floor of the show, and according to him, it's phenomenal. I mean, animated Starscream is not the most complex design. It can be done, at a legend scale, but you look at the range of articulation on it. Some of the stuff they figured out, it's got butterfly joints. That's absolutely awesome. It has an ab crunch. It has an ab crunch that compensates for the nose and cockpit. That's a really cool level of engineering. Yeah, this is just a fantastic piece. Oh, and it can do the generations thing where the cannons can fold back. That's also cool. I'm still not getting my Starscream from Armada, who's just like the extended back kibble can just fold down and still leave his like shoulder things pointed forward. That's like the only like little piece that's missing out of any Starscream I've seen. But no, this looks wonderful. This looks absolutely wonderful. I don't go for third-party Legends because it's so expensive for the size, but I will probably get this because it's such a good desktop size Starscream. And it does have a wing. I love all the wing options. So you've got obviously a wing that is solid and matches the one on the right. But you also have a wing that unfolds into a sword and also just a straight up sword. So you've got all your options available, which is amazing. Like, I'm really looking forward to that. And it looks super cool when you saw it at the show. Alright, collection space now. What do you got for us? Oh, right. We've seen this before. The female Bumblebee figure that is almost 100% back kibble. I think it is 100% back kibble. I think it's just a folded up car on the back of a moe anime girl with butt cheeks. I do really like how the display stand has a slide out compartment for storing all the accessories. That's actually a brilliant touch, and I'm amazed no one else has thought to do that. I mean, normally, like, on the underside, like, they'll be able to peg things in, but this just seems more convenient. That way you don't have to risk things like falling off the pegs and getting lost. It's great. But as usual, like, this kind of style of figure does not really appeal to me. I understand there is a market for it. I actually saw, like, the nicey and remolds of her at the show. One of the remolds, the box is the front image of the box is literally just the boobs of the toy. It's an absolutely shameless company, and yeah, I'm gonna say it. It's kind of sexist. Not gonna lie. But no, if you want it, fine. I'm not going to hold it against you. It's just not for me. Alright, Kang Toys. I got to mess around with their Razor Claw. The one that's like just made of knives. And it's a really cool figure. And like it looks pretty impressive in person. Well, they are doing Dinobots. So what you see here, we have a Stegosaurus that is kind of like Snarl. We have a Pteranodon that's kind of like Swoop. They definitely have their own features and details going on, similar to the Predaking that they're doing. But it's a different take on the Dinobots, which honestly, there's so many third-party Dinobots. This is what you needed. You needed to do a different take on them at some point. Like, I honestly feel like you could just repaint these and just make original characters out of them and no one would question it. Which, is very viable if they want to go that route. Apparently these are going to combine, too. They're going to do the same thing they did with Predaking, where there's extra characters that form up the connective parts. We have not a Brontosaurus, it is a Brachiosaurus, and a Spinosaur. A Spinosaur, who looks like he's wearing a Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Disc, but he's still kind of cool. Oh, I need to show this to Red Claw, now that I think of this. He likes Spinosaurs. There is a T-Rex, their take on a Grimlock, who's got, like, the Age of Extinction head on the shoulder thing. Yeah, it looks really cool. Like, this set looks cool. I could not imagine myself spending the kind of money it's going to take to get these, but it looks so cool. Wait, are they actually doing silver? I thought this was like a prototype. If they're actually doing them in silver, like I said, they could be original characters and no one would question it. So they're just kind of like Dinobot based. That would actually be cool. Or maybe these are prototypes. I don't know. Yeah, and there is the combined mode. It's big and imposing. There's a couple members unrevealed. There is a Triceratops in the mix as well that was not shown. I am, like, fingers crossed for an Ankylosaurus. I would not collect this whole thing, but if they make a full-size transforming Ankylosaurus in that size, oh yeah, I'm going for it. Yeah, and they just showed off some super impressive things. This wasn't at the show, but these were on slides, just doing, like, their own kind of original figures. Alright, Make Toys. What do you got for us? Well, for starters, they did the Slip Swarm that did sell out on Friday, which is only the people with the pre-release, with like the premium ticket, could actually get a hold of this on Friday. So that'll tell you either how popular it was, or how few they brought, one or the other. I mean, I've got mine. I've messed with it a bit. I haven't transformed it yet because I've never had a Make Toys Seeker. Kind of taking my time. But she looks cool. She looks really cool. I mean, I like the idea of just like taking these characters from like a more modern era and dropping them down to G1 style and seeing how they look. Also it kind of shows that you don't have to have like big feminine details like big boobs or a butt just to show that like here's a female character. Like, this suffices. This works. At some point when my voice is recovered, I'm probably going to do a video review for all the exclusives. It'll be old news by then. Thank you very much, sinus bug. But once I'm kind of eager because I never do third-party stuff, so this will be an adventure. All right, let's see. What else is next? What do we got next? Hello, Robot Toys. Very simple name, but a brand new third-party company. They're doing Legend-scaled Beast Wars, which seems like it took a long freaking time. Someone pointed this out to me, and I kind of agree with it. The bodies, especially in Beast Mode, are heavily stylized. Obviously they are. They're completely robotic. They're not trying to imitate animals at all. But the head is still very much straight off of the CG model. And I kind of wish it was a little bit more of an even balance. Now, once it's fully painted, we'll see how it looks. But it's just a little bit odd that they stylized the design of the toy so heavily, but left the head kind of its original design. Which is a weird minor nitpick, but like still, I kind of see it. I think the Primal's a little bit more stylized. I think that's got a little bit more flair to it. Hopefully the trick to Primals is they're always so simple. So I hope there's some There's some fancy tricks to this one to make it transform a little bit more interesting. Yeah, but Legends Beast Wars has been so hit and miss. They've only done a few. They've only done a few, and no company has been like super consistent with it. So maybe Robot Toys is going to be the one who actually gets a lot of them out. Metagate. All right. Since I remember, I don't know third-party toys, so I don't know any of these. Okay, so this one I do know. I have seen this one. This is a super impressive shatter that they've been making. This one was not at the show either. Because I definitely would have taken a million photos of it. This thing is super impressive. I don't care how broken up the car and vehicle modes look. The fact that it forms the shape of a car and the shape of the Harrier jet, but still forms a movie-accurate robot, is absolutely incredible levels of engineering. I'm sure this thing is incredibly, hopelessly complex to transform. But the fact that it's possible means a lot. The fact they figured it out means a lot. And then they showed off this, which is a heavily stylized version of Drift. I don't know if they're trying the same thing, and this is also going to be a triple changer, but this is all they showed off. But it looks neat. They're leaning, they're kind of leaning into like a, I don't know, almost like a Tiger Zord aesthetic. I don't know. Still, this company is super impressive engineering-wise, so I'm absolutely looking forward to this one too. I'm looking forward to see what else it does, because I'm sure it does something else. Alright, Half the Battle Toys. They're showing off their nanobots again and some of the new reveals for it. They did put in they did file for a world record for smallest posable action figure with their Cliff Jumper in Wave 2. Now, I have talked trash on these before, because for the small size, I did not feel that they were worth the asking price. But having a high-quality 3D printer now, understanding the costs that go into it, and everything that is required, as well as the material cost for making something that small and the time it takes. Oh my god, to print something on a 0.2 takes so much time. And if this guy's doing resin, it might even be more annoying. But I can tell. I can tell that, like, yeah. Like, there's a reason it costs that much. So I'm not going to harp on the price of these anymore. They were interesting to see in person, because they are, like, incredibly tiny. Yep, and then they showed off a hammer for your Unicron, either your HasLab or your Cell, if you have that. Which is, yeah, it's a cool-looking hammer. They also showed off at Constructicon's Dinobot, or Grimlock, rather. Reflector, my boy. Hound. It's cute. It's kind of a cute hound. Alright, O1 Studio, so you know we're going to be talking Cell now. Or rather, it's Repaint Overmind, inspired by Energon Unicron. Brain foggy. Sickness. Ugh. I got to see Cell in person at the con, and in robot mode, yes, it does look very, very nice in person. I'm still not big on the planet mode. The planet mode still looks weird to me. I do think it's interesting they're going with an Energon repaint, though. It's a deeper cut, like right down to the one hand being translucent. It's missing the green details, though. If the green details were on here, I'd be a little bit more sold, but this is still fun. I guess when you have a Unicron, you've only got one repaint to attempt, so that makes sense, I guess. But no, like, for the Cell fans, like, I'm sure this is going to be a little bit more limited, because, you know, there's not a whole lot who are going to be after the Energon colors, but I know some people. I met him before at MetroCon, but I was talking a lot to Treebot, another YouTuber, and his big grail, his big takeaway from TFcon was Energon Unicron. So I know there are people who still like this design and color scheme. So I'm sure it'll please a few people who wanted those obscure pulls. The slide, you know, it's Cell. You've seen this. They also showed off more of their Seed, which is their Primus, and Primus is looking really, really nice here. I'm happy that it's a completely different take on the transformation. They didn't just reskin Unicron into Cybertron. It's a brand new mold doing a whole bunch of different things. This is more to my appeal. this is something I would get, for the 3D printer's blocking my co-host, but I've got the HasLab Unicron back there. This is something that I would get in third party. Just a nice little Cybertron. I do like that the little space bridge-esque platform can actually like fit on his back like a ring. That's cool. Yeah, and the Cybertron mode looks really, really good. There's so many paint apps to make that Cybertron mode look right. Oh, it looks so good. I still wish it had the gap. I remember like the chasm, that like big deep cut into the planet. I'm still waiting on that. But it does look really, really cool as it is. Yeah, and there's a weird Alpha Trion element to this. Like, it looks like it's like a headmaster or like a brainmaster because there's like an independent helmet to it. But I have no idea what this is about. See, like this. Like this. Like, it looks like he's the headmaster for Primus, or the brainmaster. Which is weird, but there's also a shot here. It's great posability, by the way. He can do this, he can do the hero pose. But yeah, look, like this shot. Like, obviously he doesn't need the helmet. Obviously he doesn't need Alpha Trion as his head. So I'm not entirely sure what the Alpha Trion thing is about. Is it like, I guess maybe it's an alternate head or an alternate face? I don't know. Still, cool design. Cool design. I like it. All right, Iron Factory. I've gotten a few things from this company. I like this company. They are doing a Fallen that looks really cool with the flames built in. We haven't gotten a good like Dreamwave Fallen in a while, and I love that design. So this is actually pretty cool to see. The front cannon looks like a Matrix, which is weird for the Fallen, but I do like it. I wasn't at the panel to find out for myself, but if he can transform without removing those flame panels, that would be really freaking cool. They're expanding their Samurai series with a side swipe as well, who does look nice. He doesn't really like push the Samurai aesthetic very hard. He kind of just looks like a stylized G1 side swipe, but he still looks nice. Like, I still give him credit. Still looks good. Yeah, and then the vehicle mode, yeah, it's very sleek. A little bit more futuristic. I like it. Magic Square. All right. They've gone chibi. They're doing a super deformed Optimus Prime. It's cute. It's cute. It's highly articulated, too. Got the Matrix. Always good. This one's funny. Like, it turns into just the standard truck mode, which obviously there's not using the front of the truck for his chest. It's all completely different. Well, he's got this much bulk to him. I almost expected his trailer to be part of the transformation too, but no. Just the truck. And even the truck is kind of like squat and cute. And the door is open. That's such a weird random detail to include, but it's kind of neat. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's different. I like different. New Age. I am super impressed by New Age's engineering all the time, but the prices are outrageous for it. So it's an extremely rare privilege to get a hold of one of their things. They showed off their Wheeljack, which is coming with a lot of his standard accessories, plus an arm for Autobot X. At least I'm guessing it's an arm for Autobot X. It looks like it. It's cartoon accurate, too. It's cartoon color scheme. He's Hammond, based on the Jurassic Park character, I assume. Yeah, scientists and all that. Yeah, he looks good. I mean, it's hard to get Wheeljack wrong. But, I mean, when I've seen it done, but they didn't do it here. So, he's really nice. He's looking really, really nice. Showed off their swoop, and there's a whole bunch of different color schemes for this. This one is being, I think, Marvel comic color. Because it's not entirely like the red toy color, because the helmet's blue. So, I'm going with Marvel colors here. Which they've done a bunch of things like that. There's the shattered glass. You know, it actually looks kind of cool in that color scheme. Looks like fractal. Looks kind of like fractal in that way. And they did announce they are doing a Sea Spray, Triton. And again, Sea Spray is one of the simpler designs in Transformers. There's not a whole lot to him. So I'm actually curious to see what they do to kind of like throw in some twists and make him like a worthy figure picking up at their price range. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool when we see that one. Non-Nef. Met them this week, and we might do a little bit of a something later on. But for now, they showed off this 3D, well, I don't know if it's 3D printed. The prototypes are 3D printed. But basically, things that are akin to either like original Diaclone drivers or like Exo Squad figures like you see up there, or battle beasts. There are like these little tiny battle beasts. The base price per figure is only $10, which is kind of nuts for someone with 27 points of articulation. And 3mm pegs, so these are modular as well. A lot going on here for something that small and that affordable. I mean, I saw these in person. These are cool too. And then this. Everyone got a kick out of this. Let's take all of those shelf warming sludges that you see everywhere in the stores, and let's do parts to turn them into paddles. It's kind of hysterical. The neck extenders are hilarious to me. I wish we saw the robot mode of it, but you know, you get the point. Alright, Fans Hobby, what you got for me? Well, they were behind the Marksman exclusive. This one I did not get. Something about it just didn't grab me. Also, my budget was running thin at this point, so something had to get skipped. But it is based on Euro G1 Talon, and I always like my Euro G1s, so that's cool. It does have the part for the Power Master, even though he is not a Power Master. As far as I know, the weapons are painted in gold, so don't worry about those breaking or anything. It's a nice take for something that's remolded from their Darkwind. I think it's a really cool idea. Oh, also this. They are redoing Double Evil, and this time it is in toy colors. I have a friend who hits me up at the toy shop, and he's big on third party, and he brought me this thing to show off and told me, like, yeah, like, this is like, don't bother with the G1, it's fragile. Get this. It's sturdy, it's, you know, far better figure, still does all the same stuff. You'll love it. I might go for this one. I really might go for this one. It just looks so cool. It's got new parts too. It's got a bunch of new parts. Yeah, it just looks cool. I love it. I love it. Overlord is one of my grails. Like a G1 Overlord I would love to have. It would have dropped, if I had the cash, if I hadn't gone to Galaxy's Edge, I probably would have had the money to drop on one at the show. But this one, as an alternative, it's going to be way cheaper, bigger, and yeah, honestly, yes, it's going to do a lot more. It's going to do a lot more. So I might go for this now that there's another opportunity to get one. Oh, and they announced Naval Commander in Shattered Glass colors, which is a weird choice instead of the Nemesis. I kind of respect the choice, though. I'm curious what the whole thing's going to look like once we get, like, better, like, shots that haven't been dulled out, right? Alright, so, yeah, it's cool. They also announced a set of Space Minicons. As long as they go together and work better than the actual ones, I'll be happy. Because the other ones were a little bit ramshackle. Not gonna lie. Transbots. I'm actually surprised Transbots is still around. So, yeah, they showed off a Shattered Glass Inferno, which is a weird choice, but okay, you gotta reuse that fire truck mold somehow. And then they showed this, and I thought this was super weird. So, it's their punch counter punch. But they showed off a bunch of different designs done up based on NASCARs, like racing stock cars. Which I feel like, because that's the actual GM logo. It's the actual Good Wrench logo. I feel like this is pushing a few legal barriers that you probably shouldn't push. I mean, the end result looks cool. Like, it's just really niche, you know? You know, I see sometimes they try to get away, like the E and the Dole is backwards. Goodyear is misspelled. You know, they're trying to avoid a lawsuit. Alright, so aside from Dole, who else are we ripping off? I do appreciate how different these are. Okay, we have a pace car for the Indianapolis 5000. That's a long time for a race to run. Apparently they did it in 1984, though. It's a lot more plain. It's a lot more plain if you just want, just like us, more bog standard. And they did one in red, too. I will admit, it's kind of a clever reuse of some of these toys without having to, like, milk G1 figures for constant repaints. Okay, and here we go into our first Constructicon of the presentation. It is a hook. It is a fine-looking hook. I am so done with third-party Constructicons. I cannot tell you. Okay, here's a scavenger. It's certainly very scavengery. So, we'll tell you later. So, here's Big Load. I believe these actually have some, like, swappable parts, I believe, to look a little bit more show or toy accurate, depending on your preference. I mean, it looks fine, and apparently it's masterpiece scaled, so the Devastator's going to be absolutely gigantic when it's done. I don't know why it looks like it has a foot mode. That'd be nice to explain. Yeah, and there's its alternate parts, if you want to make it look more tune accurate. Yeah, but, like, I'll tell you this later, because this gets funny later. And then they did this, like, I don't know what the back shots of this is. And then we have, like, what look like 3D printed cars on Autobot cars. And then a picture of Ironhide's back. And that's it. I don't know what those were. I don't know what those were. Alright, so Contractrons. Yeah, we've got more of these. We got more of them coming out. There's the Devastator in the full combined mode. Kind of clean cartoon design. It might just be prototypes kind of getting thinned out and like normalized. Lots of head options. Like literally every type of Devastator head option you could want. Alright, Fans Toys. We got new cassette bots. Alright. And they look good in cassette mode. We got Overkill, one of the few G1 cassettes I don't have, weirdly enough. I tried looking for one at the show. They didn't have one. Slugfest looking good. There's the drone. Drone gets very underplayed a lot. Buzzsaw, put some respect on Buzzsaw. Gets nothing from Hasbro these days. Yeah, good to see. Good to see. Sound Blaster here has all of his buddies. Very, very nice. And the Sound Blaster himself looks good too. Rat-Bat looking good. Of course, Rat-Bat always looks good. Purple and gold just work. Yeah, nice little team. Nice little setup. And again, alternate parts if you want them to have a little bit more toy accuracy instead. Actually, doesn't look like you can hold two like the actual Sound Blaster can. That's about the only downside I can tell here. Yeah, let's see, what else? Because we don't need to... Oh, right. Alright, so second batch. So the first set of... From what I was told, the first set of Constructicons got a cheer. And then when these started coming up, there was just like a mild reaction. And it's going to get worse. Trust me, it's going to get worse. Again, we're dealing with alternate parts. If you wanted to look a little bit different. There's the leg mode for Scavenger. Lots of articulation to it. Again, this Devastator is also going to be huge. Yeah, it's going to be masterpiece scale again, so this is going to be another super expensive Devastator. I'm losing track. What happened to that one that was, like, going to be able to transform between toy accurate and Sunbow design? Because that was the only one that sounded interesting to me. Alright, Mastermind, what do you have? Alright, we got Remix Series. This is the other exclusive Vivance. Yeah, it's Shatterglass Steeljaw. And I have it. And the transformation to it is absurd. Like, literally, like, bending inward through space. It's weird. Yeah, but I'm assured I will figure it out given practice. It's a really cool look, though. It actually works and looks really, really good as the Black Lion from Voltron. Yep. And I always wanted to have one of these, like, giant cassettes, because I love the idea of just, like, it's a normal size cassette that just turns into a robot. You know, that's something that kind of appealed to me, so I finally got one. And yeah, looks like we're getting one for Rat-Bat too. That one I will actually be interested in, because if that one, like, because when G1 Rat-Bat transforms, it gets like really wide wingspan. So if that one does likewise, he's probably might be the size of like a baby bat. He'd be pretty big. I would be down for that. All right, Perfection series, the Art of Transform from Ocular Max. Ocular Max made some of the other exclusives for the weekend, if I'm correct. Oh, I can't see them from here. Alright, so we have a test shot for their hotspot. This is their all-in-one, so there are no additional parts to transform and combine these Protectobots. And I saw the prototypes, the early prototypes that were actually on display. If they can actually pull that off, it's going to be super impressive. They have to do it with a motorcycle still. That's going to be the real one. That's going to be the one to look for. And yeah, they show they kind of do a Scramble City thing too, which is kind of a neat touch. It's on the way. They didn't show it at the show, but they do have a first aid on the way. There's their Streetwise, looking nice. Doors silver, while the rest of it is cream colored. Not sure what that's about. And then they showed off a Scrapper too. So, the first time a Constructicon came up, there was cheers. The second time a set of Constructicons was shown off, there's a mild reaction. When the third set came up, the crowd audibly laughed. Because this is apparently like the third time this has happened at a TFcon where 3 Devastators or 3 different Constructicon toys were shown off at once in the same panel. And nobody, like, now everyone's just in on the meme. There's just way too many third-party Devastators. Way too many. And yeah, Perfection series, again, like, okay, it's going to form a nice, very clean version of Devastator. I don't know about how perfection it is, but, like at this point, there's been so many of these things, you got to say something. And that's it. It ends off on what I would call a whimper with yet another Devastator reveal. There's just too many Devastators. But those are the panels. It's very long. If you've been listening to me in my froggy voice this whole time, I do appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching and supporting the channel. Always appreciated. I'm going to go get a bottle of water and some decongestants. And hopefully I will see you next time.
We parlay with the captain.
You think a werecroc is going to listen to elvish rules of piracy?
Of course it would be the freaking elves that invented parlay.
I had to think of a quick replacement for the French.